Today's video is sponsored by Our Place. How's it going, peeps? Welcome back to the channel. First order of business, thank you so much for 500,000 subscribers. That is a number I never thought I'd hit in my entire life. You guys continue to blow me away with the love and support you show on every single video. I really appreciate it, so you guys are amazing. Thank you so much. More importantly though, we got another TikTok test to do. I gave you guys 4 options on Instagram. That is the one you all chose. And in my opinion, these are some of the best looking recipes we will have done up to this point. For the appetizer, we're gonna be trying out the million layer 15-hour fried potatoes. For the second course and our entree, I'm gonna be trying out that Tortilla Panini sandwich hack. And lastly, for dessert, we've got some world-famous fruit Tanghulu. Here's to another 5 years and the next 500K. If we ever get there, let's get right into this one. Although we don't have quite as much as previous episodes, we do have a little bit of work today. I gotta make a hard crack candy, I gotta get these potatoes baked off and into the fridge overnight, and then I gotta make a homemade taco seasoning to crunch rapify this tortilla hack. And one thing that's really gonna help me out today is my always pan from Our Place. Today, Our Place has hooked me up with their brand new always pan. I have seen this thing all over my Instagram and I knew I had to have it. This one piece of equipment can replace 8 pieces of cookware, including a fry pan, a saute pan, a steamer, a skillet, a non-stick pan, a spatula, a spoon rest, and more. Our Place has spent over a year of research to perfect this technology, and in my limited time of using it, I can already tell it was well worth the time. So do yourselves a favor, click the link in the top line of the description to pre-order your always pan, get $10 off of your pre-order and free shipping. And thank you so much to Our Place for sponsoring today's video. So first up today are the 15-hour million layer potatoes, and you'd think that this seems like a lot of work. It'll be a ton of ingredients, right? Well, to make it, you're gonna need some Yukon Gold potatoes, duck fat, and salt. I started by giving my potatoes a quick peel and then dunking them in some cold water just to prevent any oxidation. We don't want any browning on these right now. In the restaurant that I used to work at, we always used to joke that certain instruments and kitchen utensils just seem hungry for like human blood. The giant serrated bread knife was one of them, and the mandolin is another. So I'm gonna try my best to avoid that today. I went nice and slow. I used a bit of a claw grip that you would use while chopping, so worst case scenario, it gets my nail and not my skin. I think this originally came with some kind of guard, so you didn't have to hold it by your hand, but that is long gone. I can't find it. I should probably just get one of those like slice-proof gloves. Anyway, I got all those sliced up, no issues. I got them down in my bowl with some duck fat and kosher salt. You can easily order duck fat online. It's in Whole Foods as well, if you have one of those around you. And there's really no specific amounts here. You just want enough duck fat to lightly cover every single slice. Now down into my parchment-lined bread pan. These went... You kind of want to interlock these, or at least switch up the direction that they're running on every layer. This will help with the structural integrity. This actually didn't take quite as long as I was expecting, maybe about 20-25 minutes. And then I covered them up and threw them in a 250-degree oven for about 3 hours. I let this completely cool before throwing another loaf pan on top, and then just throwing in whatever weighted cans or jars you have that can go in the fridge and you won't need for about 12 hours. And the rest of this is as simple as cutting them into even squares and then frying them in 375-degree oil until they're nice and golden brown. Just be careful if you're doing this at home. Make sure to not fill your pan more than halfway with your oil. These things have a lot of moisture content in them. We didn't pat the slices out. There's gonna be a lot of liquid in the middle, so they're gonna bubble up a lot. Just do a few at a time. By the end of this, my kitchen was pretty much covered in a layer of duck fat. Between my cutting board, my counter, the oven, the knives, it was just everywhere. But by the look and smell of these bad boys, I think it might just be worth it, so let's give them a shot. I think it's safe to say that course number 1 could not have gone any better. We had no grease fires. They smell incredible, and look at these damn layers. I know I showed you a ton of close-ups already, but look at this. There's gotta be at least like 30 little layers in there. Oh my gosh. I'm constantly blown away by how many different forms potatoes can take and still be equally as satisfying. These are so good. They're like the best tater tot scalloped potato, French fried, like potato croquette ever. The outside is obviously super crispy. The inside is just so soft. And I didn't think you'd be able to tell the individual layers, you know, when you bite through it, but they almost separate in your mouth. It's really weird. Admittedly though, because I've never had duck fat before, I can't really tell if I'm getting it or not. If I had this in a restaurant, I really wouldn't think anything of it. So I want to say no. If you're scared of your potatoes tasting like duck, you don't have to worry, but don't quote me on that. Either way, these are absolutely delicious and it's a fantastic way to start the day. Next up today, we're gonna be trying out this tortilla sandwich panini hack. And because you guys know I am a Crunchwrap Supreme connoisseur, when I saw this variation of the recipe, I was all in. It has to happen. You will need some nacho cheese Doritos and onion powder, garlic powder and sweet paprika, kosher salt, and the world's most enormous tortillas. Some lettuce and sour cream, chili powder, black pepper, and ground beef, a block of cheddar cheese, some oregano, crushed red pepper flakes, ground cumin, and nacho cheese. Although I am going to show you all the steps I had to do for my filling, it really doesn't matter. What we're testing here is the practicality of this hack. With that being said, I don't know why you'd want to put anything other than what I am putting today. If you haven't seen my Crunchwrap versus episode, I highly recommend you go watch it. Because Crunchwraps are just the best, you know, especially when you make your own taco seasoning. You can control the heat levels. I love to up that sweet paprika. I will say a TikTok I definitely won't be testing today is the girl who rinsed out her damn ground beef. I saw that on my Twitter feed a few weeks ago, and yes, I was just as horrified as all of you were. I set my meat aside. I shredded up some cheddar cheese and my lettuce. I love to use iceberg for this because it's so much more crunchier than anything else. And this comes together pretty simply. You want to equally divide this into 4 quadrants. You want to make one slice from the middle of the tortilla to the outside, and then load up each corner with all your toppings or whatever kind of meats or cheeses or vegetables you want to put in there. While I was doing this, I did consider how I'd want my layers to be arranged. I do like when the colder, more fresher ingredients are kind of together on the top, and then the more like heavy beef and cheeses are on the bottom. But you do you, whatever makes your little hearts happy. I folded mine up as equally as I possibly could, and then tried to give each side a nice little browning on my cast iron. I'm starting to have flashbacks from a few weeks ago, and I'm drooling on the floor like Nala, so let's give this a taste. I didn't think I'd have an excuse to make another Crunchwrap and eat it on camera this soon, but I'm not about to complain. You guys don't really need a review for this one, right? You know it's good. You could just sit here and watch me eat it. It's super simple and easy. I love that it's fully customizable. You can throw any leftovers you have. If you have like cold cuts, literally anything you can think of you can put in this, and I'm sure it'll be great. TikTok has really genuinely impressed me throughout the series. They just keep coming through with like one great idea after the next. Goddamn. Lastly, today we are gonna try to make this Chinese fruit Tanghulu, which if you've never seen before, is basically just candy-coated fruits. Shout out to this legend I'm showing you on screen right now, Matthew Merrill. If you haven't followed him on TikTok and YouTube, I will leave his links down in the description. He's been on Food Network, he's killing TikTok, and although the bar isn't very high, he is my favorite and the best TikTok chef I have replicated a recipe from so far. All you're gonna need is some granulated sugar, water, and then whatever fruits you want to Tanghuluify. I skewered up all my different fruits. I was gonna be trying to use the mandarin oranges, some blueberries, and some strawberries, destemmed of course. Now a couple of things with the sugar. Number one, you have to cook this to a hard crack stage, meaning it will set up firm on your fruit. That's gonna be 300 degrees Fahrenheit. If you do not have a candy thermometer, it's gonna be a lot harder for you, but the best I can suggest is to cook it at a medium-high temperature for about 8 to 10 minutes, and you can test it by dipping a little piece of toothpick or skewer in there, running it under cold water, and seeing if it sets up hard. And also, do not mix this once it starts bubbling, because that sugar will crystallize and harden up, and you'll have to start over. And funny enough, I'm acting like I'm this professional pastry chef, and I screwed up my first batch as well. I was having a hard time dipping the stick in the pan, so I tried to kind of like spoon the sugar over it. The agitation made that sugar crystallize, so I'm gonna give another crack at it, just hang tight. This time I did 1.5 times the recipe, so I did 1.5 cups of sugar to 3/4 of a cup of water. And then, do not try this at home, but I dumped it into a pint glass so I can try to dip them and then let it drip off the bottoms. This is extremely dangerous, very stupid, I know. There's a good chance that this glass can shatter because you're dealing with 300-degree molten sugar, but I figured as long as this glass wasn't ice cold and I didn't try to run cold water into it when I was done, it should be okay. And everything went fine. Honestly, they still don't look as perfect or aesthetic as some of the videos I've seen, but they look pretty good for my first ever attempt, so let's give them a shot. So these have had about 15, maybe 20 minutes to completely cool and solidify, and they all seem pretty firm. I definitely hit 300 on that last batch. It probably was a little bit higher, but this does look like some kind of weird alien candy. Like, I don't think I would know these were blueberries in a sugar coating if you just handed this to me. That's pretty delicious. It tastes like warm blueberries and plain candy. One thing I really didn't anticipate with this was how hot the sugar would make it. Like, I know dipping anything into molten sugar is gonna make it warm, but these things are warmed like all the way through. Like, even to the middle, it's super soft. That hot sugar is just kind of like almost cooking them very slowly and all of their juices are being released. I don't really like that one. I don't know that I like hot fruit skin with my candy. This is another one though where the possibilities are endless. Any fruit you can think of, some will be easier or more delicious in this application than others, but I highly recommend you try at least a strawberry. Careful with molten sugar, but yeah, these are good. 2 thumbs up for me. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, leave me a big old like. Once again, thank you to Our Place for making this video possible. There is a chance I'm not gonna make any ad revenue off of this because I show the TikToks, blah, 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 we've been through this. But when I get sponsors and I don't have to rely on YouTube ads, you know, I don't mind doing these at all. So follow me over on Twitter and Instagram if you don't already. Other than that, have a fantastic weekend and I'll see you right back here next time. Peace.
With the M without the AD. Flipping burgers and my money super lazy. Try and make a meal tonight, they ain't paying me. Try and supersize my life with my 18. Yeah, our style wasn't wavy, but we had a vision.